Hey guys, it's Fiona. So for today's video, I wanted to draw some inspiration from one of my favorite desserts, which is Yaki Pudding Cheesecake from Cheese Garden. Now I didn't want to go too complex with a cheesecake, so instead I'm going to be following a recipe called Japanese Custard Pudding Castella Cake. So let's just get right into the video. So this cake consists of 3 parts: caramelized sugar, pudding, and also cake. We're going to be making all 3 things and baking them all together. So I'm going to start by making the caramelized sugar. This step is one of the most dangerous parts of this whole cake, so please be careful when you're making this. In a saucepan, I'm going to be adding 40 grams of sugar and also 1 tablespoon of water, or 15 grams. And then we're going to take this over to the flames and we're going to be cooking it until it turns into a brown color. This procedure is kind of similar to my creme-brulee egg tarts, where I'm going to be stirring it at first, and then once it's on the flame, I'm not going to be stirring it at all to prevent any crystallization. Now for the most dangerous part. I kind of had to fumble around with the consistency, so I added a little bit more water and heated it back up in the stove to let it melt again. But now I'm going to put them into the molds. And then finally, I'm going to let this rest in the fridge. And also a good tip, if you want to clean up these sugar-coated pans, just add some water, take it over to the stove, let it melt while scraping down the sides, and it should come off pretty easily. So next I'm going to be making our pudding. For the pudding, I'm going to first be cracking 4 large eggs and mixing it together with 50 grams of sugar. And then we're going to set that to the side, and then now in a saucepan I'm going to be adding 200 milliliters of whipping cream and 300 milliliters of milk, along with 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract for flavor. And then we're going to bring this over to the stove and heat it until bubbles start to form, or until it's kind of warm to touch, which is about 70 to 80 degrees. And then I'm going to slowly stream the milk into the egg mixture. Make sure that the egg mixture is mixed evenly before you start pouring. Now once this is mixed evenly, I'm going to set this off to a side. For the final part of this recipe, I'm going to be making the cake. To start off, I'm going to have 1 egg, and I'm going to beat it together with 30 grams of sugar until it is light and fluffy. I'm going to sift in 30 grams of flour. This is cake flour. And then fold it together with a spatula. Please be very gentle just to make sure that most of the air pockets are retained. And also add in 10 grams of milk. Now we're going to assemble all of our components, but before we do that, I'm going to sift my custard mixture through a strainer just to make sure that it's all smooth. So now starting with my caramelized sugar base, I'm going to add my pudding mixture. I'm going to fill this to about 3/4 full. I'm also going to leave some space at the top for the expansion of the cake. And then add a layer of the cake on top. Finally, bake these in a warm water bath for 40 minutes at 320 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I know that you can see me making a big one in this video, however, I do not suggest you make a big one because it's super hard to control the temperature. So if you want to make this, I definitely suggest you just make a few smaller ones. So my cakes have been cooling in the refrigerator for about 5 hours. And from the baking, they are a little stiff on the top. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of milk and pour some on top of the cake just to bring back some moisture. And now I'm going to remove it from the mold. You could also eat it straight like this. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.